Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to KoolmenGaming. I am your host today, Rosalong, with our player Egg, and this is Back to The Last of Us. So, we were talking about PlayStation 3 games. Were we not?
Yes.
So, what do you think the highest Metacritic game is for the PS3?
Go back to bed. Highest Metacritic for the PlayStation 3.
Yes. It's not what I thought it would be.
Okay, what did you think it would be?
Honestly, I was thinking it was either going to be this game, Last of Us, or I was actually thinking Shadow Colossus. I was thinking it was going to be those two games.
Shadow? A PS3 game?
Yes, it was. Did you not know that?
I thought it was a PS2.
Clear.
Was it? Oh, it was. No.
I remember Shadow being way older than PS3.
Was it a PS2?
I'm almost certain it was a PS2.
Oh, I think you're right. Well, anyway, I thought...
Did they have that one game with the weird...
Oh, you're right. They did the other one.
Ferret, dragon, fairy thing?
No, that never released. That came out on PS4.
To underwhelming reviews.
I never played it.
Exactly.
But I was either thinking Last of Us, I was thinking that, but apparently I was wrong. And I was thinking Red Dead. But I was wrong. The number one is Grand Theft Auto 4. Which, it's funny, because I always heard great things about that one. Followed by Grand Theft Auto 5. Which is fun to remember that is actually a PS3 game.
Sure.
Uncharted 2.
Okay.
This one surprises me. Batman Arkham City. Little Big Planet. Then Red Dead. Last of Us. Portal 2. Bioshock Infinite.
Hang on, let's get through this cutscene.
There she is. Kids will be watching movies tonight.
Where is this lab of theirs?
It's all the way out, University of Eastern Colorado.
Go Bighorns. Ellie, get off your horse. Give it on back to Tommy. I'm gonna hang on to this fella, if that's all right with you. Go on, don't make me repeat myself.
What are you doing?
Your wife kind of scares me. I don't want her coming after me.
Sorry for stealing your horse.
Look, come back to town. Let's discuss it at least.
You know me, my mind's all made up. University, Eastern Colorado. How do I find this lab?
It's in the science building. Looks like a giant mirror. You can't miss it.
You take care of that wife of yours.
There's a place for you here, you know?
You good?
I'm good.
Adios, little brother.
That's so sweet.
Give the ball to the other team,
Right, it's called turnover.
and if you clear the 10 yards, then you're back at first down?
First down, that's right.
Man, it's confusing.
Hey, you just gotta play it a couple times. It all makes sense.
Oh, and the 10th game is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Or Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. I'm actually not surprised by that one.
So here's my thought. Even on games like Grand Theft Auto,
Okay.
no one cares
Some
when
of these buildings
Grand
look
Theft
like
Auto
an
comes out.
Well,
Agree.
Central grounds. Should be able
And
to see
it's the
most of the
same, it's
campus from
definitely
there.
the same for Call of Duty. So these games that like, and don't get me wrong, I love Grand Theft Auto and it deserves high praise, but no one's gonna give a shit by the time Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out. And then no one's gonna give a shit when Grand Theft Auto 7 comes out.
I find it funny you think a Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to come out.
Oh,
They're going to just keep remaking GTA 5. I think Prince money.
That's true. There's a lot of DLC for it, and it's so fucking fun. I mean, even I love GTA 5. It's so fun. So fun.
You played GTA 5 online?
So,
Bro, we played it together.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago.
Even though they were all
Like, it's a lot different now.
Party.
Like, I hear it's better, to be honest with you.
Figure out what they
Guy
wanted
at
to
work
do with
still
their
plays it, man. He's like, dude, I went to the casino the other day and I got a car. That's pretty freaking badass. I was like, what? Like, there's a casino in that shit now?
Jesus.
You know, I just realized this. I think the sequel comes out tomorrow.
So, what? You mean another DLC for 5?
No, The Last of Us.
Oh, yeah, I think it does.
Surprised how far we got in the few days we've been playing this.
Yeah, rocking through it.
Yeah, we have. Good.
But yeah, that's why I think, like, no one's gonna care, really. Like I said, it's not a dig at those games, but those games are typically topped by their
Next one.
predecessors, and they have multiple predecessors. Last of Us, I would be amazed if it, I don't know, I genuinely don't know how many Last of Us they can make. Like, they made a part 1, that's what they called it, and they made a part 2. So I guess by the numerology terms, they could, in theory, make a part 3, 4, 5, 6, etc.
I hope they don't.
I mean, I don't think I'd care. I don't think I'd hate it if you can keep, like, the story interesting. Like, there's literally a whole world to explore, so maybe.
Yeah, I'll say this. The whole, you know, the world to explore thing is definitely there. Because post-apocalyptic anything. Like, because we're only in America. You could easily just take this story into Europe.
Sure.
And just imagine what it would be like going through Rome that looks like this. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you could literally do something where you can be like, oh, you're in the Vatican secret vault, and there's clickers. Like, that alone. Actually, that sounds really cool now that I think of it. Well, I was going to say, like, normally I'm a firm believer in letting franchises go. Because I just don't think anything really good comes from beating that horse. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Hey, over there.
Because sure, you could tell stories, but it makes it really hard
It does look like a giant mirror.
to continue to try to make that story. Because, like, Joel and Ellie right here have a pretty unique situation with their story, right?
Sure.
How many people
Ellie's
do you think are
immune.
there?
Joel's a broken man.
Fireflies.
He's taking her through.
You reckon it takes
Now, what other story
Do you think there'll
in
be
a video
village?
game, mind you, can you tell in the Last of Us world that would be just as gripping? Could you do a Wander's Journey? Oh, we heard of a
Stay with the horse.
town further ahead, and we're all trying to get there and just do the adventures of these people getting to the town. Like, you know what I mean? Like, trying to find that unique, gripping story gets harder. Because even in The Last of Us, it's not really a super unique story. Just the characters are so well done that it makes it memorable. I'm just wondering, how many times can you strike fire with that? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's what I worry about with franchises. And another thing, I think some franchise names need to die. Like, Assassin's Creed needs to stop calling their games fucking Assassin's Creed. Because some of these games haven't been fucking assassin-y in years. Like, I think Unity was like the last one that was actually assassin-y.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Black Flag was barely an assassin game. You were a pirate.
Yeah, I loved, not Black. I didn't even get a chance to play Black Flag, but I do love. But what was the one where you were the Native American?
3.
I loved the ship combat in that game, which is the whole reason Black Flag got made in the first place.
You know what's so funny is that game is hated on so much.
Really? Sad.
Well, here's the thing. Everyone says the main protagonist, Connor,
Yeah.
is boring.
Oh, well, he is. Trust me, the only thing I remember about that game was the ship combat. I don't remember the
That's
story.
the main thing,
I
though.
don't remember
Like,
jack
when it
shit
comes
about
to Assassin's Creed 3, no one remembers shit except for the combat, the ship combat, which has been in, like, every Assassin's Creed game since 3, because everyone loves the ship combat.
True.
But, like, in general, like, when I think of Assassin's Creed now, like, I don't think of, like, because remember when that game first came out? The whole cool thing about it was, oh my god, you should never have a phone call. Cool thing about it was you're supposed to kill people, set people up, and getting information, and that disappeared. Like, it totally disappeared from that game. Like, none of that's even there anymore. Now it's just parkour,
Look,
third-person adventure.
I certainly explained it the other day. I say it again. They should have dropped that whole fucking Matrix bullshit they did with it. The whole, like, you gotta plug into your ancestors or whatever the fuck. I
now
can't
you don't
remember what
even
it was
do
called.
that. You get like a scrape of blood from a knife and you plug in.
I hate it so fucking much. It's so, just give me a game set in that era. That's all you gotta do. Give me a game.
I just hate the fact that it's still called Assassin's Creed. Like, it really bothers me it's still called Assassin's Creed.
At this point,
of all
bro, it's
things.
just
I would
branding.
have wanted to be an astronaut.
It is. I know they only call it that at this point because they want a name that's recognizable to the masses. You know what I mean? Like, I get that's the only reason why Assassin's Creed is called Assassin's Creed.
Sure.
But at the same time, like, I feel like they should have just started a new franchise. The reason why I say this is because of, like, Origins and
Shut up.
Odyssey. Most likely, because when I played them, I'm like, you know, if you guys just drop the assassin shit and just embrace this as, like, a freaking third-person open-world game, this would be fucking amazing. I haven't finished Odyssey yet, but I've been enjoying it so far.
Good.
I'm glad their games aren't super shitty on PC anymore. I'm so glad over that.
Scoot.
I hated that so much.
Have you seen this thing that the Epic Game Store's been doing?
What have they been doing?
They've been doing this thing where they've been releasing titles that are like 100% free if you download them in the first 24 hours of their release.
I did not know that. Because I normally jump on shit like that just so I can get, like...
Like they're
Totally
doing it
take
for
advantage
like Total War Troy. They're doing it for. They're like, it's Epic Game Store exclusive, and if you download it in the first 24 hours of its release, it's free.
Is that right now?
No, it's not right now.
Damn it.
And then there's some other game that I saw they're doing the exact same deal with, which is if you download the first 24 hours, it's free.
Are they new games?
Yeah, they're like
First
brand
time
spanking new
seeing a
games.
monkey.
I'm not saying they're good games. I'm saying they're brand spanking new, like fresh, hot off the presses, released for the Epic Game Store. If you get them in 24 hours,
Oh,
it's
wow. Ark is for free right now.
free. There you go.
Now, let me try to download this
While we play.
and not, like, completely break everything. I'm making sure... I'm staring at the recording button to make sure. Because if I just have to download it and then I can, like, uninstall it later and get back, I am totally cool with that.
Joel, look.
Okay, I just got Ark.
Stay, Callus. What kind of name is Callus, anyways?
Not my fault you forgot to ask Tommy his name.
Callus.
Thing's name is Alice.
See,
Dallas, yep.
This is good.
That is an
First sign
interesting
of
name.
fireflies.
Scoot back.
Stranger Things 3, the game. They made 3 Stranger Things games? Even though they made 1.
Probably a sign of the quality, if I had to guess.
Samurai Showdown
Alice.
Neo Geo
I hate that
Collection.
name.
I don't think I'm getting that one.
You know what game I'm weirdly excited to try?
What's that?
Ghosts of Tsushima, I think is what it's called.
You know, I'm not into
There
it.
is.
Really?
Like, for some reason, there's something about very, like, feudal Japan art style I'm not a huge fan of.
Really?
I don't know why. Because as a kid, I was totally into that.
Mhm.
And I thought it was great. Like, I really liked stuff like that. But as I've gotten older, it's less appealing to me. Like, with Sekiro, that's another one where I really want to get into it.
I'm surprised.
But the art
it's
style
fucking
doesn't really
Dark Souls Japan.
I know. Trust me. Like, I miss my Dark Souls fix, dude. Like, I'm really jonesing for another
And
needle of that shit.
Sekiro, from what I understand, actually has like a really concise story that you don't have to like there's some background shit to it that you can read up on and stuff, like in that Dark Souls style, but it's also very narratively driven, I think, at least for a Dark Souls game.
Yeah, just there's something about the art style. Like, part of the art style I think is great. Like that arm of his, that trick arm.
Mhm.
Like, I love the way that looks and works. But
Yeah.
a lot of the, I don't know, something about feudal Japan, man, it just doesn't rhyme with me.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, because I was huge into it. Like, I know this is going to be the worst example of me like liking feudal Japan, but you ever remember the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie where they went back in time to feudal Japan?
Is this an animated movie?
No, it's a live action.
Oh lord.
Oh, it's so amazing. That's not the point, though. We're not talking about how great that movie is. It's
Look, hang on. I remember the one. I've seen a few of them. I remember the one where like they meet like the hockey player and Ralph.
It's the
Ralph wears
sequels.
a
It's the
fucking
sequels to that.
trench coat.
It's the sequels to that. Like, trust me, you don't know what good shit is till you see Samurai Shredder. But that's not the point.
Which
That's
is
not
weird,
where we're
'cause he's
going.
always been very samurai-y anyways.
Yeah,
but
you know what I
digress.
meant. But I loved that movie as a kid. But for some reason, like, I can't get into it anymore. All I know is they better release Bloodborne fucking 2. Oh wait, they did announce that, didn't they?
Did they?
I thought they mentioned Bloodborne and shit. No, it was Demon Souls remake, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They need to do a Bloodborne 2. Because that's still my favorite art style
I'm actually
of all
kind
those
of-
games.
Are you excited for Demon Souls? Because I never got to play Demon Souls.
Funny enough, I bought it, and then my PS3 died. And I bought it digitally. So technically, if I got a PS3, I could sign into my account and play it again. But just with no servers. But no, I never really got into it. To be honest with you, the first one was kind of a bit hard to get into.
Oh,
Like,
sure.
it wasn't... Huh?
I said, yeah. I mean, I remember. I remember reading about it, so I should say, because I didn't play it, but
Well-
I do remember that it was like notoriously.
Because you're the one who actually got me into Demon Souls to actually buy it. I don't know if you know that.
I thought I got you into Dark Souls.
No, you told me about Demon Souls first. Because you were talking about Demon Souls before Dark Souls came out. And you said you wanted to play it, but you never had a PS3. And you were like, dude, you should check it out. You go through things, you got a shield and stamina. And you really sold it pretty good. And then when Dark Souls came out, you're like, it's like Demon Souls, but for everyone. And it's newer. I'm like, alright. And that's the one that eventually got that needle in my arm. Figuratively, not literally.
Can I sneak up? I can't sneak up on a popcorn head, can I? And stealth kill them?
Yeah, you have a shiv.
Oh, there's a bloater.
You have a Molotov for it?
I don't think I do. No. Fuck.
Shit.
Just shy of some alcohol. Ain't that some shit?
It is some shit. But,
See, might get me killed.
Bloodborne is still my absolute favorite when it comes to aesthetics. There's just something special about the way that game looks to me that just sings to me. I was say, can you make like another shiv? I don't know if you have any like... Nope. Damn, you don't have nothing right now.
Yeah.
You went from rolling to dough and nothing. Oh, you got a bomb.
Yeah, but I don't know if that'll kill a bloater.
I don't think it'll kill him, but it might fuck him up a bit. You know, you might not even need to kill him. You could just probably run away from him. Stealth out. Just an idea.
Not a bad idea.
I'm kind of upset with myself. I never platinumed it. I'm missing 2 trophies from a platinum on Bloodborne.
Really?
Yeah. One of the trophies I'm missing is, funny enough, the bad ending for the game. And,
Which one's the bad ending?
where you let the guy kill you at the end and you just, like, wake up like nothing happened.
Oh.
And the last... No, wait, is that the bad ending? Yeah, that is the bad ending. And, there is one boss I have not killed. And that's because Bloodborne has this thing called the Chalice Dungeon. What the Chalice Dungeon is, it's like a semi-procedurally generated dungeon that you have to go through layers upon layers and upon layers, and the enemies get harder. You get better loot and items and souls. It's a place, or Blood Echoes, it's where you farm all your shit.
Sure.
And it's not fun at all to me. It's... Because it's that, like, little procedurally generatedness... It doesn't have those unique, those unique pretty areas that you would see Oh, you're going for it. Oh, it worked!
Oh, Jesus.
Holy shit, that's awesome. I can't believe that worked.
Neither can I.
Huh.
Okay.
But it doesn't have those beautiful sceneries and vistas, and it doesn't have that well put together world like Dark Souls and Bloodborne itself has. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like Dark Souls 1 has the best world design I've ever seen in a game. Everything is connected, you never have to fast travel, and everything just kind of merges together, and it's absolutely amazing. And they never did it for any other game but the first one. And they should feel ashamed, because that map itself is beautiful the way they did it.
I guess maybe they realized it's too much work.
Oh, it could have had to have been. There's no way it was not the most. I don't know. I'm not.
What
game
did Dark
designer.
Souls come out for?
That was the 3 era. Like
That would-
PS2, PS.
That might be a
no,
game
PS3.
that like people would remember. I think.
Oh yeah. That brought back difficulty in games. Like that made it okay for games to be difficult again.
More infected. I'm fine.
So maybe that's why Dark Souls will remember. It's because it's like, hey. Now, don't get me wrong. Dark Souls also was fairly notorious for making people decide what's considered difficulty and what's considered a fucking glitch.
No, they're not glitches, they're features.
Yeah, well.
But
Yeah,
no,
I
I
remember
agree.
that shit.
I agree with you there. But I will say this: it did send a signal out to people like, "Hey, it's okay for your game to be difficult again."
True.
Damn thing.
And I am glad they did that because honestly, I think games really did need that, and I think it did a lot.
That's true.
Let's try the gate.
Because to be honest with you, when I try to think back on older games
You did it!
where like
Come on through.
they were really, punishing or difficult, like I can't think of it.
It's funny you say that, because I had this thought the other day. Were games more difficult when we were young, or were we just bad at games?
I think it.
No, I don't think
I don't even think it was that.
Because I can remember some games being like so
Bill used
fucking
them as a form of
impossible
defense.
when I
Maybe
was
they're
younger.
doing the same.
Well, here's the thing.
Like
see that.
smoking them now if I were to do them.
This is gonna sound like a cop-out answer, but I think it is both. Plus one more thing. No one knew what they were doing really well.
Yeah, okay.
You gotta remember, dude, we grew up in the video game generation. Like, when we were born is when video games were starting.
No, nothing.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Expect
yeah.
to see
Yeah.
someone by now.
So,
Let's get
like,
inside.
people use this as a great example. Is the first Legend of Zelda. It literally drops you in the world and doesn't tell you shit. You don't know where to get a weapon.
That's very true.
You don't know where you're going. You don't even know where some of the caves are to the dungeons. You don't know shit. And then they realized, okay, we gotta let players know things, otherwise they're just gonna wander around aimlessly.
Yeah.
And that's why the next one had improvements, and
I
then the
was a
next one, and the
student.
next one.
Why not?
So I think the difficulty.
I had Sarah when I was pretty young.
Were you married?
Ooh.
For a while.
What happened?
Okay.
Too much?
Too much.
Oh, I was hoping to find out what happened to the mom.
Seriously.
But I think a big thing that ended up happening is back then, not necessarily the games were made more difficult. They just weren't made usable. Like, I think some games had a problem of, like, just not being made in a way that was easy to play.
Like, I can think of...
Player skill
Like,
wasn't
a
there because
lot
you
of-
have never attained it.
Like, I can think of a lot of N64 games that I really struggled on. I struggled on Mario 64. I struggled on Star Fox 64. I struggled on GoldenEye. Like, these are games I got good at eventually, but it took me there was a hard learning curve. And to this day, I'm like, sometimes I look at that, I'm like, I don't know if that was my age and my skill level, or if that was because the games were an actual challenge.
Well, here's the thing, at least for one of those, you mentioned GoldenEye. That's a game you play with one control stick.
Oh, yeah.
Like, think about that. That's a first-person shooter with a single control stick. You would even consider that a thing now. Like, just the mentioning the idea is blasphemy almost. You know what I mean?
True.
But that's like one of the things where like things have evolved. Like I think back in the day, games weren't made bad. They were just made. They were made in a way where they didn't know what they were doing yet. Like Nintendo made the N64 controller, and look at that train wreck of a controller. Let's be honest. They had two different grips for it. One grip if you were playing a game with a D-pad, like let's say the original Mario, which wasn't on there, but they had the grip there for it.
Where did Ellie go?
That's a great question. And then you had the center grip, which is the one you had to use for the joystick. That was used for anything that was third person. Like, you were considered to hold that controller two different ways, depending on the game you were playing.
Okay, well, here's a question. And I don't ever remember needing to use the D-pad.
Oh, no, I never used it for anything.
Yeah. I always just grabbed the middle rod and the fucking right rod. And
Yeah, there was no right rod.
Yeah, that was a right rod.
Not on N64.
Yeah, you're not understanding me. The controller had three
Oh,
handles.
you meant the right side of the handle.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The right
yeah.
handle and the middle handle.
The button part.
No, I'm talking about literally where you put your hands.
Yeah.
It had three handles. Right?
Yeah.
Because it was
The
shaped
far
like a
right
fork.
one that had your thumb over A, B, and the Y,
Yeah,
the C buttons.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're talking about. But no, just like, even that was like a limitation. Like,
Hey.
we
got
just
over there.
what generation?
Yeah, looks like a way in.
It was the PS2 generation, PS2, GameCube, and Xbox, where everyone realized you need two control sticks on all controllers, minus Nintendo with the Wii. But even then, they released like an add-on that added the C stick, and then you used essentially the wand as
rusty
the other
shut.
stick with
I'll
motion
find another
controls.
way.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They
Maybe we can get
originally
over.
realized you need two ways to
Go
move
back.
in a 3D environment. You can't just have the single stick. So then all controllers became standard with two joysticks.
True.
That just happened as... So I don't think necessarily games were made harder back then. I think they were made in a way where not everyone understood what was there. There's no game that came before. Like, that's another thing. There's no precedent. Like, what's a good example?
You know one thing I'm glad about games, though?
What's that?
I'm glad they've cut down on the accessories.
Oh my god, like the glove, the bazooka
The glove,
thing.
the bazooka.
I totally had the
rumble
bazooka.
pack, the memory card,
I-
the memory extender, like all that shit.
I don't even remember the memory extender.
Oh, I remember it because I had Quest 64, and you could not save the game without the memory extender, and I did not have a memory extender, so I literally played the first like 2 hours of that game over and over and over again because I could never save it.
I'm so sorry.
Yep.
But for me, when I think back, I still remember the bazooka, man. I'm not gonna lie. Having the bazooka on a Super Nintendo was so amazing.
Oh sure,
Well,
I used to play the.
There was this-
I used to play Duck Hunter with the fucking little pistol.
Oh, on the NES?
Yeah.
Dude, I still remember this one Super Nintendo game that used a bazooka, and it was like this big mech game where like you were firing at like a bunch of mechs on the screen.
Mhm.
And I don't remember what it's called or anything like that, but I remember that's where you came from.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where the fuck I'm supposed to
I
go.
thought you just went to the left over the other barbed wire thing.
I mean, over there?
Left.
Where?
That's right.
Behind me?
Right there.
No, I don't think that's gonna give me... No. Oh, no. I know what I gotta do.
Oh, do you?
I just saw it.
Oh, good. Oh, you had to move that thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
way to
anywho.
go, you. But it just, I remember how much fun I had at that. And then N64, I think I went with Rumble Pack. And I did get Donkey Kong 64 that came with that little red thing you had to put in the front of your console. Do you remember that? Did you ever get Donkey Kong 64?
I don't remember those.
And Donkey Kong 64, you had to open up the front of your console and take out this little memory pack and put in a different one. Otherwise, the game would not play.
I think I do remember that. I think I do.
And I remember I thought it looked cool because I had a red top, so I actually never put the cover back on my N64. So I would always have that like little red pimple on the front
It's
of
kind
it.
of cool. But then it's funny because then you go back in time and like you look up games that, like for instance, on the NES there was that fucking Ninja Turtles game that has like a reputation of being like notoriously difficult. And I did used to play that game all the fucking time, and I could never beat it. Of
NES
course.
or Super NES?
Maybe it was a Super NES.
Because I think you're thinking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: A Turtle in Time. That sound about right?
That sounds about right. It's
It
whatever.
was
one
like
the
it was a
notoriously-
beat 'em up where you could be you could have up to
We're
4
inside.
players,
Yes.
Come on, kiddo, give me
and
your-
then you were all different turtles, and you're walking around beating up Shredder villains and stuff.
Yes.
It's that one. I used to play that religiously. I used to
Let's look
beg my
around.
mom to play that with me. I loved that game so much. I suppose the one thing I hated about that game, I think it was the surfing levels that were auto-scrollers, where you had to like dodge the shit jumping out of the water, and the Shredder dudes, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
Oh my god, that game was so ridiculous. I still remember where you were trying to attack other bad guys on that those surfboards. So if you did like a jumping attack, you would jump off your board and your board would follow you forward.
Oh, that's fucking funny.
It was great. I loved it so much though. It was so dumb, but it made it so great to me. Oh shit, we're actually at a stop point. Like,
Oh, yeah?
we lost track of time.
Okay.
So hey everybody, I hope like, share, subscribe. I hope you guys like just hanging out with us as we nerd out about video games and the future of games and past and shit that happened and
Screwed
all
up.
that jazz. Like, share, subscribe. All
Yep.
that jazz.
Yep.
Please share. We'd appreciate it.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.